All right, let's talk about it. In a world that's all about going out, being seen, and being social, what's the deal with those of us who just love staying home? Are they lazy, antisocial, or is there something much, much deeper going on? Well, in this explainer, we're going to unpack the fascinating psychology behind the simple choice to stay in.
This is the question, right? It's the one you hear all the time. Society has this quiet suspicion that if you prefer to be home, you must be running from something, that something is wrong. But as we're about to see, psychology tells a completely different and way more interesting story.
So on one side, you've got the easy labels we slap on people. Lazy, antisocial, boring. These are the quick surface-level judgments, but the psychological reality? Oh, it's so much richer. It's really about regulation, self-awareness, and depth. This simple switch reframes the whole conversation, from a negative assumption to a positive, intentional act.
And that is the absolute key. What if choosing to stay home isn't about running away from the world, but about intentionally creating a space that actually works for your brain, your nervous system, and your personality? Let's start with one of the biggest reasons of all, energy.
So our first big idea is this. For so many people, staying home is about recharging, not hiding. It comes down to a fundamental misunderstanding of how their internal energy works. It has absolutely nothing to do with being lazy and everything to do with just being human. And this really gets to the heart of it, especially when we talk about introversion. See, it's not about disliking people. Not at all. It's simply about where you plug in to recharge your batteries. An extrovert might feel totally energized by a big party, but for an introvert, that same energy is restored through quiet, through solitude.
This is a universal truth for everyone, but some of us feel it way more intensely. Every little conversation, every shared space, every single moment of being on for other people, well, it costs a little bit of your cognitive and emotional energy. You can really think of it like a battery.
And this social battery idea just explains it perfectly. You start the day with a full charge, right? That charge gets restored by your alone time. But after social events, you might find yourself in low power mode. You're still going, but you're drained. And that's where home comes in. Home is the essential charging station. It's where you plug back in to get back to 100%.
So the takeaway here is huge. Staying home isn't an act of avoidance, it's an act of maintenance. It's no different than sleeping or eating. It's just a necessary function to keep your whole system running smoothly. But there's another layer to this whole thing.
Yeah, beyond just the social side of things, for some people, the world itself is just loud. And I don't just mean sound. I mean the total sensory input can feel like an all-out assault. And this is a very real psychological trait.
This is especially true for people with what's called high sensory processing sensitivity. Their brains literally process more information from the environment, and they process it more deeply. So what does that mean? It means sounds can feel louder, more jarring. Crowds can feel completely chaotic. Even just messy, cluttered spaces can be mentally exhausting. It all leads to getting overstimulated way faster.
And that's exactly why home feels like such a sanctuary. It's one of the only places on Earth where you have almost total control over the sensory input. You control the lights, you control the volume, you control who's there. So again, this isn't about being afraid of the world. It's a really smart, protective strategy to keep your nervous system from getting totally fried.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about what people are recharging from. Now let's flip it and talk about what they're actively engaging with when they're at home. Because the assumption that a quiet home is an empty one, that could not be more wrong.
For so many, home is the incubator. It's a space where their inner world can finally stretch out and flourish. It's a space to create without anyone looking over your shoulder, whether you're making art, music, or just coming up with a new idea.
It's a space to think, really think, without the constant pings and interruptions of the outside world. It's where you can process your day, connect the dots, and just let your mind wander. And maybe the most important one of all, it's a space for identity. It's where you get to shed all the different hats you wear. You're not an employee or a friend or a partner. You just get to be you. And that's where your inner world has the room to truly expand.
What this all boils down to is a core psychological need that we all have, autonomy. That feeling of being in control of your own time, your own pace, and where you put your attention, that is so deeply tied to our well-being. And for many, home is the ultimate domain of that personal freedom. Now we have to make one more really crucial distinction here. Because look, there is a healthy love for home, and there can also be an unhealthy withdrawal. Knowing the difference between the two is absolutely key.
So on one hand, you have social avoidance. This is driven by a fear or a deep anxiety about other people. But on the other hand, you have social selectivity. This isn't about being antisocial, it's about being selectively social. It's about valuing your own energy so much that you choose to invest it in fewer but deeper connections. See the difference? This chart just lays it out so clearly. A healthy preference that's driven by choice and intention, and it feels good. It feels restorative, peaceful. An unhealthy withdrawal, though, is driven by compulsion and fear. It feels distressing, maybe even numb, and you can end up feeling trapped. The key question to ask yourself is this: does staying home lead to growth and self-awareness, or does it lead to isolation and stagnation? The feeling it creates tells you everything you need to know.
So, after looking at all of this, we can come right back to where we started. Home is not an escape from the world. It's actually a different way of engaging with it. It's not a failure to participate in life. It's a powerful way of living it with real intention, depth, and self-awareness.
And this quote really just says it all, doesn't it? For many, it is where the world finally makes sense. It's the place where all the noise of the world finally fades away and the signal can at last come through clearly. It's not about hiding from life. It's about creating the perfect conditions to finally understand it. So maybe the real question isn't what are they hiding from, but what quiet, amazing truths are they finding?